Hey, it's Vas here from Aussie Playground and welcome to my 2019 studio tour. Now, I haven't done one of these in a couple of years. I actually missed out on last year's 2018 tour, mainly for a couple of reasons. One which is actually very sad was that my dad passed away in October 2018. And of course, myself and the family were all sort of grieving from his passing. So I wasn't really in the mood to be doing anything around Christmas time. I just wanted to sort of put up content as it was and kind of going through that routine. I didn't want to do anything like this. I wasn't really in the mood. Plus, I also had somebody living here with me that was sharing the house, and they were living in a spare room that I got upstairs. And they had a lot of RC stuff down here, and I didn't really feel comfortable filming their stuff during that tour. Whether they minded or not, it was kind of irrelevant. And yes, I probably could have moved the stuff out of the way, but as I said, my dad had just passed away, so I wasn't really in the mood. And of course, now we're in 2019. Things are a little bit better. Of course, you know, the pain's kind of gone a little bit from the grieving, and I'm prepared to do another studio tour and keep things uplifted and smiling, because this is what it's really all about. It's about sharing the hobby with all of you. We probably can play a little game if you want to. I've got a whole bunch of links down in the video description from my previous studio tours that I've done. I think I've done about 3 or 4 in the past. So if you've been following the channel for a long time, or perhaps you're new to the channel, you can go and check out those videos. Have a look at how much this room down here has evolved, how the RC collection has changed over time, and try to spot some of your favorite RCs during this tour. Maybe you might find them missing. Maybe you might be surprised to see some RCs missing, and no doubt you are going to see RCs in this video that you have not seen on the channel before, or perhaps even on any of my social media platforms outside of YouTube. So stay tuned, go make yourself a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, crack open a cold one, you know, kick back. I know that this video is probably going to be fairly long. We've got a lot to cover off, but I hope that you guys enjoy this. When you are watching this, it will be, well, I will be releasing this video during Christmas Day 2019. So I'd like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, whether you celebrate it or not. I know there's many different cultures out there, some of which don't celebrate Christmas. You know, just have a good day. Enjoy some time with your family. Go out and do some RC if it's a nice day. Stay safe and enjoy the video. That's really all I can wish for. So without further ado, let's get this started. Okay, so this year we're going to start a little bit differently. We're starting out in the garage, and I'm going to show you my planes first. My plane collection has grown significantly over the last 12 months. As you can see, I have quite a number of them, and they're all stacked up here. So we've got the Sky Sword there, Vitara V4. We have the Commander is at the top, Ranger 1600, Excalibur, probably one of my all-time favorite planes. Timber, very, very close. These two are unbelievable. That's the Timber X. Bixler 2, I recently purchased this one. There's a guy selling it brand new in a box. Had a really good deal on Facebook Marketplace, so I picked that up. That I haven't even flown yet. I got that from work. It's an old model. I scored it. I don't even know if it's going to fly. That's the SU-35 or something. Or 30, I don't know, something from Hobbyking. That is a spare canopy for my Commander that actually has FPV. So I can actually fly the Commander in FPV. So I got a stock canopy and the battery plugs in there. That's how that works. Well, I have a spare battery for that. So I've got the stock canopy in that for line of sight flight. And then if I want to fly FPV, I put that canopy on, I can fly FPV. FMS flash. This is that LED jet that I did a review for probably 2 or 3 years ago. It's not a bad little thing, but the foam is starting to fall apart. I think I might dismantle it. I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing. It flies okay. I've just recently replaced the servos as well because they both failed. Both my aileron servos failed. So anyway, that's a Hobbyking jet thing that I bought. I don't know, it was on sale. I think it cost me like 30 bucks. And then of course you got to add your electrics and so forth. This is the Hobbyking Vampire. My roommate had this. He tried to fly it. He crashed it. He smashed the booms. I fixed the booms, but I managed to put them back crooked. And this thing just wants to nosedive. So I've ordered 2 new booms and I've just refixed the landing gear. Anyway, You probably see this on the channel at some point. This I bought secondhand. It's the Venom Saber F86 or something. Only flies off 4S, very underpowered, but it has air brakes. It's got air brakes here. It looks really cool. It's got flaps, landing gear. It's an awesome little plane. Like I said, I have flown it. I've only flown it once, but it's very underpowered. Same with the Vampire, very underpowered. So I got 2 new EDFs coming for these. The Flycat from Hobbyking, I tried to fly this and it didn't go very well. I actually scuffed the nose here and I split the fuselage, but I've fixed it. It's ready for a remaiden. Hopefully this will fly okay. The FMS or Rock Hobby Super Viper, one of my all-time favorite EDF jets. I still love this thing, still fly it. Vitara V4, I've only flown this once. This thing's a weapon, but it'll drain a 5500 milliamp 6S in like 3 minutes. It's crazy. That is the Sky Sword from Hobbyking. It's the 70mm one. I bought it as a 4S version and it just barely flew. Like it was similar to these. It flew okay. It had probably more power than these, but I upgraded it to 6S. I fly it on the same 3300 milliamp batteries that this flies on and that this would fly on as well. And it's an absolute weapon. It flies so nice in the air. Such a beautiful plane to fly. This guy here, a Sonic model something, Mini Talon, I think it's called. Really cool little flyer. Absolutely love that plane. You meant to set it up for FPV, but I haven't. I just fly it line of sight. I just like looking at it. It's really cool. Forgot what this one's called now. Durafly EFX. This is not the EF Extra. This one is the orange one. So it's based on the original model. Absolute weapon. Flies beautifully. Love this plane. An old school one. This plane's getting old in the tooth now, but believe it or not, it still flies fine on 4S. This is the Durafly ME163. This I got from a guy at work, which I haven't even built yet. I've had it now for a couple of years. I don't know if I'm ever going to build it, but it's here. It'll get built one day. So that's how I store my planes. And then there's some more down here. Oh my God. Rock Hobby Wacko, E-Flight Twist 3D, E-Flight F16 64mm. This is one of the most beautiful planes in the sky and it flies amazing. This is the bind and fly version. It is absolutely brilliant. And then this is the FMS F15, which I love. This I got as a plug and play, obviously, from FMS. But you know what? Whether it's with the AS3X or whether it's just flying it raw with a normal receiver, both of these planes fly very, very similar. Very similar speeds. And man, what can I say? If you want to get a 64mm EDF, either one of these, absolutely brilliant. Love these planes. Very, very cool. Alrighty, so let's head inside. Now, as we come inside, you're going to see yet another plane. This one here is the Taft Hobby Cobra. This is my biggest EDF to date. I have not flown it yet. This is a 90mm EDF. It stands 1.5 meters in length, 1300 millimeters across wingspan. This thing's a monster. It runs on a 5,000 or more 6S. It's an absolute weapon. Retracts, flaps, you name it. I mean, this thing's got it all and it sounds incredible. So I'm hoping it's fast enough and I hope it flies well enough because, yeah, I haven't flown it yet, so we'll see. This is where I keep pretty much all of my spare tires. I've recently got this shelf unit just to tidy all up because I had all of this mixed in with my transmitters, which you'll see in a minute. Yeah, I put all my spare tires on here. My flying bag, so this is my FPV bag. That one there is mainly for my planes. And then as we turn over here, we'll actually get to go inside the room. So as we enter the room, we have the transmitter wall. So this is where I keep pretty much all of my transmitters. This is where I keep all my multi-model memory aftermarket transmitters here. And then of course, now that I've got all the tires gone, I've got some spare shelves which I'm yet to fill up. This is where I do all my RC pit stop videos. Camera usually sits around here somewhere. I move these cords and everything out of the way. That's my soldering iron. That's some spare, glue box and some spare odds and ends and things like that. And then we've got that spray there is actually for water for that. So, some spare cables, charge cables for bits and pieces. I keep all my equipment in there. This is all my soldering stuff there. So I got all my like plugs, connectors, shrink wrap, soldering bits and odds and ends, some rags. And then here we have two kits that I'm yet to sort of put together. Now, this one you've probably seen on social media before. Proline sent me this quite a while ago. I will get this done. I just haven't had time this year. There's been a lot going on. But this is definitely on the agenda as one of the first things I'm going to do in 2020. Here is the Techno Mt410. Now this is a brand new kit. I'm not going to try and take it out of the box with one hand because that's not going to work out well. But this was actually pre-built. The guy kind of dismantled the front and rear ends to be able to put it all back into the box. So this is a brand new kit that he recently built, but he really just hadn't had time for it. He gave me a good deal. I bought it and I just got to put the thing, just assemble it really, paint up a body, install the electrics. I got a set of tires because Proline sent me a whole bunch of tires. So I got tires for it. I just need time to put it all together and get it done. But yeah, they're two kits that are going to be really fun to do. You know, I'm going to do this one as the monster, kind of that style. I'm not going to do it as a race truck. So they're going to be two massive bash vehicles for 2020, which I'm really looking forward to using. Some spare shelving here. You got my Team Magic bag for when I go out and meet up with friends and I want to take, you know, my things and I need to carry stuff. That's a really good bag to take. Over here, you'll see my quad collection. I had a lot more quads than this, but of course, I've kind of sold some of them and moved them on. I'm not really into quads that much as I once was. I kind of went through a phase, I went through a phase where I wanted to do some quad reviews and I was lucky enough to get some stuff sent out to me, but ultimately, you know, this is probably where I'm going to leave it. These are all custom builds. This is the only one that is not custom built. It's the GT90. I've actually got a new board and ESC here that I got to replace on it because for some reason it's not working on 3S. Like it'll hover and then as soon as I punch on 3S, it'll just drop out of the sky, just cuts power. But on 2S, it seems to fly fine. So I don't know. Got these little guys here. I'm sure you've seen these on the channel before. Got some cameras, GoPros and sessions and things like that. And then of course, this is where all the magic happens, where I do my editing and so forth. My old laptop that you probably see in some of my older studio tour videos. And here we have my computer, which I'm hoping will boot up now that here we go. So that's just got my Titan V4. Who remembers that? Who had one of those? And as we pan across, you're going to see a whole bunch of cars. And this is what the room kind of looks like. So let's start over here. This rival, and there's two rivals. You might be thinking, when did you get a second rival? All right, so this is my original rival for back in the day. It's running the Titan system. It's got a few upgrades on it, you know, aftermarket tires and so forth. And I did have a different body on it, but I wrecked it, so I've put the original body back on. This is a great truck. I love this truck. I don't think I'll ever get rid of it. But guy turned up at work with one of these and it had all the original gear in it. And he said there was something going on, that the car was like jittering. It wasn't running right. So he left the car with us and I thought, you know what? I've got one of these. Let me have a play with it. Let me see what it's doing. So I plugged two 2S batteries because the original electrics only allow for 4S. I plugged in two batteries and originally it was kind of working okay. And I'm just throttling, hitting the brake as I'm holding the truck off the ground. And I'm like, oh, I don't know what this guy's going. It seems to be okay, unless it's under load that it's not working right. Anyway, I pulled the trigger one more time and it started to jitter. And I'm like, oh, here we go, it's jittering. I pulled the trigger again. Next thing I know, there's a puff gone from the ESC. And the smoke starts coming out and then the whole thing catches fire. So the ESC catches fire. I'm bolting with the truck out of the shop because at this stage, I'm still holding the truck in the shop, in the middle of the shop floor. So I've bolted outside. There's a massive stench of burnt plastic and wires and electrical smells and everything. Go outside, unplug the batteries. I managed to slightly wreck one of the batteries because they were just soft packs and they kind of got melted a little bit. The other one survived okay, but it just had like smoke burns on it or whatever. Anyway, Rang the guy. I said, mate, your ESC just caught fire. Nearly burnt the whole place down. What do you want to do with this truck? He's like, oh, I don't know, leave it there. So he left it there for a while, came and picked it up. And then I said, what do you want to do with the truck? And he goes, I don't know, I'm just going to probably sell it and get rid of it. I said, look, if you're interested, I can buy it off you if it's, you know, if it's a good price. The entire repair, he had another one, he had like a Nitro Savage, and the entire repair for the Nitro Savage and whatever else we did, I think it came to like 125 bucks. Originally I offered him $100 for the truck. He goes, can you make it 150? I said, let's meet halfway, let's do 125. Not knowing even what the total bill was, it turned out to be the same money that he owed for the shop. So I just paid for his fee of having the cars repaired, and I took the truck home, and I have another rival with burnt ESC and a dodgy motor. But that's okay. I got electrics to fit in this. It came with the remote. It's all pretty much original. And if worst case scenario, even if I don't do anything with this, it's a parts donor for this guy. So we'll leave it at that. That's the story of the rival. All right, so the Super Rockway, you've seen this one on the channel before, but what you haven't seen is this one. This is a very special truck, and I will be doing a video about this truck, but you might be able to spot all of these upgrades that this one doesn't have. You can see there, and the trailing arms upgraded as well, which that one doesn't have. And if you want a pizza, there we go. And this here, this is a custom built steel cage, steel roll cage. So this is a one-off steel roll cage. It's also got an upgraded servo in there. You might just see the blue. Yeah, I only got this the other day. It came all the way from the States from a gentleman called Graham Jepson. And I think I said his name right. Apologies if I haven't. But he, yeah, he sent me this truck, and I'm going to be featuring it on the channel. I'm going to be running it, and you guys hopefully are going to be as impressed as I am, because I haven't even installed a receiver into it yet. I've only just got it. The truck is relatively new. It really hasn't seen a lot of use, but it weighs a ton. Like, it is heavy. And I'm actually surprised that the stock suspension and everything, I think he may have changed the springs on these, but I think, you know, the fact that this thing can support itself is quite amazing. But that's a really cool truck. That's one that I haven't shown on social media or even on the channel yet. So yeah, stay tuned for that one. My Pro MT, you guys have seen me run this plenty of times. Absolutely love this truck. The Hyper Plus 2. Yet to have a second run with this one. I still got to tune the center diff, do some minor adjustments, and then I'll be taking this one out again for another bash. So we'll see how that goes. We have the Titan V4, the DHK Zombie, which still has a busted body from my last run. I don't know what I'm going to do about the body for this thing. I kind of had an idea to get a different body from Banggood or whatever, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. DHK Maximus, that's still running okay. I managed to fix the little cross pin on one of the hexes. So that's up and running again. And this is up and running too, it's just the body's no good. We got the Sen Racing little solid axle monster trucks. I'm yet to do a video for these, but you will see it very, very soon. I promise you, I need to have the right time, and I need to get one of my kids involved to run them both at the same time, and I got to get it done right. You'll see it soon. Now, as we go back up, these are just miscellaneous boxes, just stuff in there. Batteries, some of my small batteries, we've got 1500 or less 3S, 2200 3S for my planes, 2200 4S, 1500 4S, these are mainly for my quads. Some smaller batteries in here, and of course my charge station is just here. Loving this charger, love that charger as well. The Sky RC 400 watt beast. I've had this thing for like 2 or 3 years, I can't remember now. And it's just a beast. I love that charger. It's awesome. And then of course you got just random stuff, tools and boxes with stuff for other things. Anyway, this is all my charge cables. It's amazing how many charge cables I actually use and how many different ones I've made over the years. Adapters for this, adapters for that, because I have so many different types of RCs. You kind of have to have all these different charge cables for all these different types of batteries, different sizes and so forth. A couple of planes here that I haven't even built yet. The T25, this is a really cool plane, similar to the foam ones that you saw at the start of the video. This one actually belongs to my ex-roommate, and I don't know if he's going to come back for it. He's left it here. He might come back for it. I have told him that it's here waiting for him, so maybe he wants me to build it for him. Who knows? Just some random tools and bits and pieces. Limitless, Mojave. These boxes there is where I keep all my manuals. This is where I kind of take my batteries in these boxes when I go out bashing. And then down here, we have these black boxes actually keep the majority of my batteries when they're in storage charge. So here I have my 2S, and then over here I have 3S, and then 4S, and then 6S are over here. And if you have a look at the 6S, there's quite a number. There's quite a number of batteries in there. A lot of them are Ovonic now and Gens Ace. There's a HRB in there. Yeah, there's quite a number of 6S batteries, 4S batteries. That's also growing quite significantly. Again, I got a bunch of Ovonic batteries in here. My what's the name? Hard case 6500s that you guys would have seen me do, you know, the giveaway video on. And then some 3S. I haven't got too many Ovonic in the 3S at the moment, so hopefully we'll fix that in 2020. These bottom boxes are mainly for my quad gear, so there's like shrink tubing and there's VTXs and spare odds and ends and things like that down there. Nothing too special. And then as we move up, the Offner next is over in the corner, one of my oldest RCs. I think that's been in every Aussie RC studio tour collection video thus far. The Hobbyking Nitro Circus Basha MT. This is a 1/8 scale beast. I don't really use that truck anymore because it's been discontinued, and getting parts for it's going to be really hard. But I also don't want to sell it. So it's still there. If you haven't seen it, there you go. You got a bit of a look at it now. The Hobao 8SC, I think it is. The Armour Raider XL. The Sky RC bike, which is missing its head because the head always pops off. As we move across, we have the Hobbyking Basha Rally, which was really often a buggy 8 chassis with just a, I don't know, a rally body on it. This is the Thunder Tiger Mt4. Now, I haven't really featured this one on the channel before. I haven't really shown this one on the channel before because this truck was actually given to me by someone over in Europe. I can't remember his YouTube channel name, but he doesn't do videos anymore. And he kind of just said, look, I don't want this truck. It's got some upgrades on it. Temporarily, I sold it to Dean for him to use, which was my roommate. And he eventually didn't want it, so I bought it back off him. And yeah, now it's here. It doesn't have any electrics in it. I'm going to build it eventually and get it running, but it's one of those things that's just a back burner project. Hobbyking Berserker, Charisma, little tiny buggy thing. What have I got over there? That's the WL Toys little 70km/h little weapon. And then this is like an FPV camera that I was using with this little car because it's groused to drive FPV with these. My Thunder Tiger ST4. I've got an idea to paint this body on, so I'm going to be doing that hopefully in the new year. It's going to look sick. Thunder Tiger Bushmaster, Thunder Tiger little Hilux crawler truck. It's the only crawler vehicle that I really have, and I kind of like it, so I keep it. That is the Thunder Tiger Jackal, which of course has the new body on it. I think I did a bash video with that body on there as well. That is the worst car that I've ever had on the channel, which was the Mammoth Blitz. It didn't last a single run before the diffs disintegrated, so yeah, that's the worst car on the channel so far that I've ever reviewed. The Hobbyking Desert Fox, I've actually got two of these. One was the original one, and then Hobbyking sent me another one with the upgraded electrics, which I think is this one, and that actually worked a lot better. But I don't know, I've got a whole box. That box down there is full of spare parts and a spare body for these as well. I got two new roll cages that I ordered from Hobbyking to replace the roll cages. I really don't know what I'm going to do with these cars. I may do something cool with them, or I may just pack them up and sell them. But we'll see. I've got so many other things that I'd love to do. I just don't have the time to do them. This is a box of Spectrum receivers because I'm changing over a lot of my cars to be used with Spectrum radios. Down here we have the E4 DMF from T-Magic. That is the Pro Kit. Still haven't built that. I mean, it's built, it's a roller, but you got to put all your electrics in it and do everything. That's the little Rockstar. And then in that box behind it is a brand new Rockstar, which actually comes with metal diffs. So that's the upgraded version. Hobbyking sent me that like almost 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago or something. And they didn't give me any instructions. They didn't tell me that they wanted a review. The guy that I was talking to left Hobbyking, and one thing led to another. I don't know, just weeks went by and I never ended up doing a video for it. If you want to see me do a video on the little Rockstar, the updated diffs, let me know, I'll do it. Otherwise, I might do a giveaway and maybe give that guy away in the future. Nitro Circus little mini Basha. This is the little bad bug. I think Hobbyking may have discontinued these cars, but these were such good little cars. One of the best cars Hobbyking ever produced with these. And I don't think they're available anymore. Now over here we have the RZ4. This is a car that I'm really scared of driving now because I was doing a little bit of on-road racing a couple of years ago, and I hit a wall and I broke an A-arm, and it took me 12 months to get an A-arm from Hobbyking. So spare parts for this car are becoming really difficult to find, and if you break something, you're going to be waiting a long time for it. So it's a bit of a shelf queen now, and if I do use it, I'm going to be very careful with it. This is an old car that I picked up from eBay long before I bought the channel, before I started the channel. So I don't even know what car this is. It's a Hang Nor or something. Anyway, it doesn't really get much use, you can tell by the dust. That's my drift car, which also doesn't get a lot of use. And then down here is just some, look, armor box spares. If you want, this is a box that I've actually had to upgrade recently because I had so many armor spare parts that the box that I had wasn't big enough, so I had to upgrade size. And well, hopefully I don't need to go any bigger than that. Down here I've got things like different props and glues for my planes and so forth. As we go up, we've got the Crazy Chaos Reaper. We've got the stock Reaper over there. There's also the FTO11 boat, which I haven't used in quite a while actually. I need to go out and do some more boating. Notorious, definitely one of the better trucks that I've got. These T-bone pieces that I've got here, I actually originally had these on my Outcast. I sold the Outcast and I kept the Notorious, and of course I kept the T-bone racing stuff to go on here. Centon 3S 4x4 BLX, awesome truck, love that thing. One of my prized possessions. This is the special edition Outcast with all the silver bits and the special etched chassis and all the rest of it. I was going to do a video, like a feature video on this. I have no intentions of running this truck whatsoever. This is strictly a shelf queen, and I may one day even make like a glass case to go around it. I don't know. I'm really being very anal with it, but if you want me to sort of do a bit of a feature video on this and talk about my thoughts on the entire concept of this truck and what I think of it, please let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to do something. I was going to do one when it first came out, but then other things happened and it just got pushed back. But I'm still keen. If you want to see it, let me know. My Creighton V4, which now has this beetle body on it. Very cool truck. I'm yet to run it since I put that body on, to be honest. My Italian V1. Yes, this is a V1 car. It still has the V1 shocks. I'm running the Hobbyking. These are the Basha springs, which I think were the springs from that truck or something. I can't remember now. But this is one of my favorite cars. It handles so well. It doesn't have the stock system in it anymore, of course. I'm running like a strict 4S system, not 6S. You can probably tell, like, all the links and the drive shafts are so rusted now because it's had so many runs. I've never had to rebuild the diffs on this either, so testament to even the V1s from back then, this car, one of the best. my V1 Centon. Again, this is a car that not running the stock electrics anymore, but still running the stock diffs, stock shocks, stock springs. Most of it is still as it was, with the exception of the electrics. Infraction, of course, legendary car now. I think Armour and Horizon definitely underestimated the popularity of these cars because we're still trying to catch up on back orders here in the country. There's so many people that want these cars and we don't have them to supply. The E5 from Team Magic. This is the MT version, and then over here we have the HX. Two of my all-time favorite 10 scale monster truck cars. Absolutely awesome. This is the Team Magic's J-Star. I almost forgot the name of this truck. You guys may have seen me do a painted body for this car recently, but I had a bit of an accident. The whole back end of it fell off as I was running it. I need to get another body, and look, it's splitting here as well. I need to get another body done. I've got an idea for a different body for this. You're going to see a new body for this very soon, and then I'll run it. These are the Proline belted tires. I was trying to run these tires on this car, but I was having some issues. So I've got some of that footage done, but I've got an idea for a different video to be able to sort of do this, do a bit of a review on these belted tires. So you'll see them in the future. The HBI Savage XS with the El Camino body. Very cool truck. Haven't run that in a long time, actually. The Vitara Kimura. This is a very old car as well here on the channel. Currently doesn't have a remote hooked up to it. And I haven't really ran it in a very long time. This is a discontinued car, so if I smash it and do something, I'm not going to find parts for it. The 10SC from Hobbit, or SC10 or something. The Lucas Oil Tenacity DB Pro. Definitely one of my all-time favorite 10 scale buggies. Beautiful, beautiful buggy, that one. And then, of course, we got the Hobbit 10 TT over there as well. And then some more containers and stuff with some spare parts and odds and ends and so forth. Moving back up again. Well, we've seen the Sand Reaper, we've seen that boat. Over here we have the Thunder Tiger Olympian boat, which is pretty much a direct competitor to the Spartan. And in my humble opinion, this is better than the Spartan, the Traxxas Spartan. And then over here we have the Typhoon V4, which is pretty much stock. Haven't really done anything to that. We have the Creighton V4 with that Proline brute body that kind of split here when I had a massive stack with it and bent the front shock tower and everything else. This is all fixed up. It's ready for another bash. So who knows, maybe you might see that out there again one day. The Phazon, which is now discontinued. I've been slowly restoring this car. So this is a brand new body. There's a brand new front bumper on here as well. Oops, sorry. A brand new front bumper. I've got a brand new skid plate underneath as well. There's a few brand new bits on this. I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to bring it back to, as much as I can to original brand new condition. I may even do a tear down one day if I'm really in the mood for it and clean it all up. But the idea is to not run this car. This is another shelf queen, much like the 10th anniversary Outcast, purely because these are discontinued cars. I know some people still bash these, but for me, I don't know, I get really sentimental about all this. I get very emotionally attached to these things. And I just want to look after it. I just want to keep it pristine. That's really my plan for this car. Creighton 4S, Typhoon 3S. This is still old stock. This one just has a 20-tooth pinion in it. And then, of course, we've got the Italian V3. So this is not the one with the tower-to-tower brace. This recently had a chassis change. Sorry, no. This recently bent its chassis because I took it out to a skate park where, while we're at Altona, there's a skate park there. And I took a couple of bad hits and, yeah, I buckled this chassis on concrete. And I can see now, when people complain about buckled chassis on these things, you take big enough hits, they're going to bend. And believe me, this took some ugly hits. But I didn't break the wing mount, though. Hyper SST Truggy, Hyper VT on-road car. Here is the Team Magic Seth, all dressed up and ready for another bash. It also has a rocket power motor in here as well, which is a 4092, I think, from memory. 1650 kV. It's such a good motor. I've only ran it once. I didn't get it on film, I was just running on tarmac just to get a feel for the motor. There's so much power and speed on this thing, even just on 4S, that I've actually ordered another motor to go in the Mojave. And you're going to see that when that lands here. You're going to see that Mojave with a new motor in it. And I'm going to see how that runs with the same motor that's in here at the moment, because it's absolutely amazing. The Pirates 2 monster truck. This one, thankfully, is still in one piece. My Losi AT, which is an absolute weapon when I do RC carnage with all my friends. The Pirates 3, which was an epic fail. The T-Magic BES. This is one of my all-time favorite trucks, and it doesn't get a lot of use these days because I painted up a new body for it. It looks beautiful, and I don't want to wreck it. So it kind of sits, and it's pretty much shelved until one day I will run it again. And then, of course, you've got some more boxes down the bottom there to keep everything nice and tidy. All right, as we start to wind this up, you can see over here we have some more planes. Here we have the Hobbyking Ugly Stick, which I broke the nose off one time because the elevator got stuck in the up position and it just basically looped and hit the ground. I smashed the nose off it. But I put the Tundra front end on there. I kind of just stuck it on there, and it's got the Tundra motor. This is the 1.2 meter Tundra from Hobbyking, and it flies beautiful. It doesn't have a receiver at the moment, but it will fly again. The FMS, this is the FMS Spitfire 800mm. They don't make these anymore. It's actually got the motor out of the Hobbyking Bonanza, which I dubbed Bozo because it was such an ugly plane to fly. But this actually flies pretty good now. It's got a 7-inch prop on it. It's just a belly lander. I've stiffened the wings up as well, so you can see I've got a spar running through here. And actually it doesn't fly too bad. This is my 90-mile-an-hour trainer. It's one of my oldest planes. It's dirty. You know, it's all scuffed up, it's dings everywhere, but still flies very good. And it's got a souped up motor in there. It runs up to 4S, and at 4S it can hit 90 mile an hour. It's an absolute weapon, this thing. This is the Sonic model again. Oh, hello, Drake. Come to say hello? Yeah? Who's your good boy? Who's your good boy? Love you. So this is the Sonic model little mini wing. I've actually got an FPV camera on this. I fly this mainly on FPV. I'm running the R9 receivers from FI Sky, and I'm actually running, what's it called? The little, it's got the little turtle thing. I forget the name of the cameras now, but it's got, it can record HD footage at the same time it does FPV. Anyway, that's that wing. The F27 Evolution. This is the S1100 FPV wing. This is a really unique wing. Took a long time to build, but it runs twin motors, so it's actually quite cool. My Texumo, still one of my all-time favorite wings. I had FPV mounted up here one time, so I put a little bracket there, like a little piece of balsa, or plywood rather, and I had a FPV camera on there, which actually works really well. And then of course we have the Neptune from, who does this? Tech One Hobby, that's right. I don't know if these are available anymore, to be honest with you. But yeah, this is a beautiful wing. I still fly it from time to time. Flies perfect on 4S. And I think that pretty much covers everything as far as I can tell, as far as I can remember. Over here, I'm actually setting up a bit of a gym because, in case you haven't noticed, over the last couple of years, I've been stockpiling kgs, mainly in my midsection. This is not a wall unit that's really in use anymore. My kids used to sit down here and, you know, play their games, watch TV, do whatever. But that was mainly because I didn't have a TV upstairs. My TV upstairs broke. But since then, earlier in the year, I actually bought a brand new TV, a nice big 65-inch OLED, and they spend a lot of time upstairs now because that TV is really cool. And they don't spend any time down here. So now all of this gym equipment was actually underneath the stairs. I had stacked it all there because it was in the spare room that my roommate took over. And I couldn't really access it because all his stuff was in front underneath the stairs. And now that he's moved out and taken all his stuff, I finally got the gym, but I can't set it up in the spare room because my son's moved into that room now because my kids are getting a bit older, so they need their own space. So I figured, well, they're not using this area. I may as well, you know, set up my gym equipment here and start pumping weights in my spare time and hopefully shed some kgs and take doggy for a walk. And yeah, that's pretty much wraps this up. All right, time to do an outro. Right, so I hope you guys enjoyed my 2019 studio tour. Now, for those of you who've been paying attention up until now, you may have noticed one significant car, recent car in fact, that is not been mentioned here during this studio tour. And that is, of course, my Armour Creighton 8S. Now, for those of you who don't follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you're probably not aware of what's happened to that car. So I'm going to give you a very quick story here of what has actually happened to my Creighton 8S. So I had the car about 2 weeks prior to release. I did my unboxing video and I did my run video. And of course, I also did my speed test. Now, after I'd done my run video, I quickly did an edit and uploaded it to YouTube as an unlisted video and shared that video with some important people over at Armour and Horizon so that they could just see what they're getting when the video launches. I did the same thing, of course, with the unboxing video, just in case I mention something. I do this sometimes as a courtesy thing, but it's just more like, did I mention something wrong? Maybe they might turn around and say, you didn't, you said this, but it's actually that, or why didn't you mention this? And then I can go back and either reshoot, or I can edit, or I can put, something there to correct the video. Anyway, once they saw the running video, they said, yep, that's fine, it's all good. The next day after I'd done that running video, I was putting batteries into the car and I was going to go and do the speed run that you guys would have seen during RC Speed Week because I didn't get a chance to do it before the actual bash video. As I was putting those batteries in the car, I noticed my tower-to-tower brace was bent like a hammock. And of course, I immediately thought, geez, if the tower-to-tower brace is bent, what's happened to the chassis? So I flipped the chassis over and sure enough, my chassis was buckled as well. Took some photos on my phone, sent them over to Armour, and I said, hey, look what happened after the bash. To which they said, what do you mean? What have you done to the car? I said, nothing. You saw the bash video. And they're like, okay, well, let me watch it again because obviously something's happened. They saw the bash video again. They couldn't pinpoint exactly where the damage had happened. We all sort of figured that maybe it was during multiple jumps. So it wasn't one significant impact that did it. It was more like the consistency of impacts and bad landings or whatever that I had with the car. So they said, they were a little bit worried about it, and this was before the car had even launched. So at this stage, the car had not actually been released to the public. And they said, can you, by any chance, pack the car back up and send it over to us in the UK? I said, sure, no problem. So the car launched on Thursday, at least Thursday here, or it was Friday early morning here. The following Tuesday, it was in a box, packed up, back to the UK. Now, the funny thing is, they wanted the car to get sent back over there as quickly as possible so they could analyze it and find out what had caused that damage. Maybe there was a build error that somebody had missed in production, that something wasn't installed properly or whatever, who knows. Or they wanted to test the materials to see if maybe the chassis wasn't the grade that it was meant to be. It wasn't as strong as it was meant to be. Or the tower-to-tower brace, something had happened to that during production. I don't know. They didn't tell me why they wanted the car back. I'm just assuming here. So the car got sent back, but as luck would have it, it didn't get back there very quickly. First of all, it took, I think, over 2 weeks for them to get a letter or notification from customs to say that the car was being held in customs, and then they found out that they had to pay something like $200 or 200 pounds or 200 US dollars, I don't know, to get the car out of customs. But then of course they had to fill out a bunch of paperwork to get it out of there, and then it took like a month or more. It took like 6 weeks or something for them to actually get the car, and they only just got the car last week or the week before. After all this, they got the car, and by the time they got it, they told me that they already found out what was happening, what was causing these chassis to bend. They didn't tell me what it was, they just said they found out what was causing it. So I don't know what the mystery thing is here that's causing some of these chassis to bend. Anyway, originally they were going to send me a replacement car. Then they said they were going to fix the car and send it back to me. Now I think they're just going to dump all the parts in the box and send it back to me, and then I'll fix it myself. The replacement car idea pretty much got shut down pretty quickly because there was not enough stock. The cars actually sold a lot better than what they anticipated. and there's just no stock for guys like me to get another one. And the ones that could get were coming from the US, which would have cost them an enormous amount of money to ship that over from the States. So originally we wanted to get one from the distributor here, but they were all sold out. So anyway, it was a mess. It was a waste of money because it cost me a lot of money to send that car back over. And in the end, I think they're just going to send me the car back in 2020, January sometime. They're going to send the car back to me, and then I'll fix it here when I get it all back, and replace the chassis and the tail-to-tail brace and all that sort of stuff. So a bit of a mess, a bit of a waste of time and money, and that is why I don't have my Creighton 8S here. But here's the thing, right? I want you all to sort of take this as a positive, that Armour have always been very proactive in listening to not just the general public, the average Joe that's watching this video. If you have an Armour vehicle and you put something up on social media, if it's constructive, if it's backed up by evidence, and obviously it's something that is professionally written, they're going to take that on board. They're going to listen to you. And Armour are very good at doing that. And when it comes to guys like myself, not just me specifically, but other reviewers out there that get these cars ahead of time, or any time for that matter, our purpose is to give companies like Armour feedback. And the idea is for them to improve on the product and to listen to guys like us and go, yeah, this is done really well, or you need to improve here a little bit, or this is a little bit of a fail. You need to go back and do it better. And there's a way to give that feedback to these companies, to these people, without sounding like an asshole. I think myself and a lot of other guys out there actually do a pretty good job, I think, which is why I keep getting these cars, and which is why we do what we do, because it is, at the end of the day, it is to make these products better so that you guys can, when you get them off the shelves at your local hobby shop, or you press that buy it now button online, you're getting the best product that is possibly available out there from that company. And it's because of what we do. So don't think that this is a negative, me bending the chassis or bending the tail-to-tail brace is a bad thing. This is a good thing, because it's better that I do it than you do it. I think that's where it's at. And I applaud Armour, I always have, for doing what they do, listening to us and improving their products. And I look forward to 2020. I look forward to the next series of the 6S line and the 3S line, the 4S line. And of course, I look forward to what the Creighton 8S is going to be in the future. Now, speaking of the future, what is going to happen for Aussie Playground in 2020? I know this video has gone on long enough and I'm waffling on a bit, but I'm going to be very, very brief here. I'm going to be a little bit more selective on the cars that I have going forward. I want to focus a little bit on looking after myself as well, which is why I'm setting up the gym down here. I've also got a bunch of projects like the Techno trucks, like the the Proline truck, and some of the cars that you saw behind me, bodies that I want to paint up and all this sort of thing. I've got a whole bunch of bodies down here from Armour and Proline, and I've got a bunch of tires and a bunch of stuff that I need to get done. I want to make sure that I do that in 2020. And in order to do that, I can't just take on every single RC that comes out. Obviously, if there's something brand new that's really exciting, of course, I'm going to be trying my best to get my hands on it. But if it's, like some of the updated Armour cars, I'm going to be a little bit more selective. I don't really need to have every single one. I've got a lot of RCs, as you can probably tell, more so than I have time to use. So 2020 is going to be a little bit of change of pace. I hope that you guys stick around, whether you've been here for a short time or a long time. I hope that I can see you in 2020, see all those comments, see all those likes, and I'm going to leave this here by thanking you once again for all the support that you have given me over the years. It is because of you guys that all of this has been possible, and it has taken me many, many years and a lot of money invested into this channel to be able to get all of this equipment and all of this stuff that you see here today. And I couldn't have done it without the support of each and every one of you, whether it's by simply watching or hitting that like button or leaving a comment down below. So again, thank you all very much for watching. Merry Christmas to you all and a Happy New Year, and I will see you all in 2020.